which will be recited by Safa, Marwa and Sarah. Please welcome them with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
It doesn't work. Today, me and my sister, my little sister, are able to talk about three inspiring figures of Islam: Imam Husayn, Hazrat Abbas, and Imam Zaynul Abideen. These three individuals come from the Prophet's family and are also the best characters and role models for us. Imam Husayn alayhi salam was born on the 3rd of Sha'ban, 626 AD, in Medina, Saudi Arabia. His mother was Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, and his father was Imam Ali alayhi salam. His grandfather was a holy prophet, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi. He grew up in close company with his brother, father, and grandfather, alayhi salam, and learnt most of the knowledge and teachings from them. The Prophet alayhi salam used to always instruct Muslims to love and follow their family, like the Hadith al-Thaqalain. Prophet said, "I have left two weighty things, the Qur'an and the Ahlul Bayt. As long as you follow them, you will never be led astray." Hazrat Abbas was a half-brother of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. Mother was al-Baneen and father was Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Zaynul Abideen is the fourth Imam and son of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. He was born in 659 CE in Medina. His mother was Shahrabanu from Persian royalty. The Battle of Karbala. All these three role models played an important role in the Battle of Karbala. When Muawiyah died, his son Yazid became Khalif and demanded Imam Husayn alayhi salam to pledge allegiance to him. Imam refused to do that, as Yazid was a corrupt and bad person. Imam famously quoted as saying, "I am ready to fight the solely goal of seeking the reform of Ummah and of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. I want to join good and forbid evil." Imam Husayn alayhi salam, his family and companions headed to Kufa. There were around 70 people who had faced the larger army of Yazid of 30,000 people. Who switched sides to support the Imam. Imam Husayn and his side fought bravely, but on the 10th of Muharram, Imam Husayn alayhi salam was murdered.
Imam Husayn alayhi salam will always be remembered for standing up against tyranny, oppression and injustice, and made the ultimate sacrifice to protect the Islamic values. Every year his legacy is remembered globally, especially in the month of Muharram. Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam was the flag bearer for Imam Husayn. Imam Husayn asked him to go to the Furat River to bring the women and children water. He didn't drink any water waiting to give it to the children, but was shot with arrows in his arms and eyes and eventually was martyred too. Hazrat Abbas is remembered for his bravery, loyalty and sacrifice to his brother and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Imam Zaynul Abideen alayhi salam was too ill to join the battle with his father and family. He was taken captive by Yazid's army, together with Imam Husayn's family, and facing prison too. The Imam was brave enough to deliver a powerful speech in front of Yazid's palace, describing what happened in the battle to the point that Yazid got so scared of a revolt from the people listening. Imam compiled Sahifa Sajadiyya, a collection of supplications. Imam died in Jannat al-Baqi in Medina. He will be remembered for passing on his father's legacy as well as his contribution to the Islamic thought and spirituality.
The Prophet and his family are a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us, that we must appreciate our follower them through the shafa'a. We hope we can enter Jannah with them.
Brothers and sisters, the reciter is just a couple of minutes away. In the meantime, just to let you know of our regular programs and our program next week. Inshallah, we continue with our regular programs through the week. On Mondays, we have regular ladies' exercise classes, and on Tuesdays, we have yoga classes as well as ladies' fitness classes as well. On Thursdays, we have Dua Kumal program, usually starting at 8 o'clock with Salah, followed by the Dua Kumal and Surah Yasin. On Fridays, we have our regular Friday talks. This Friday, inshallah, we'll be having Mukhtar Kareem, who will be speaking to us on transforming charities to change lives. As you probably know, he's the CEO of the Lady Fatima Charity Trust. The following week, we will have Ali Raza Bajani, who will be speaking to us on Beyond Pluralism, Diversity and Usuli Thought. We also have a few upcoming programs. You might know about the Paint Night, which is taking place on the 28th of February. We also have a ladies' Tajweed workshop, which is taking place on the 21st of February. If you want to find out more, again, visit our website. You'll find out more about all of our programs. Our Ramadan program will, inshallah, begin on the 11th of March. Our program will include daily iftar, Quran recitation, a children's program, du'as and a'mal, and a few extra special programs, including Qari night, a social suhoor, and an ihya night. محمد وآل محمد صلوات. Brothers and sisters, the next part of the program is a Quran recitation by Rashid Ayub. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, I'll be reciting from Surah An-Nur, from ayahs number 34 to 38. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد أنزلنا إليكم آيات مبينات ومثلا من الذين خلوا من قبلكم وموعظة للمتقين. الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح المصباح في زجاجة الزجاجة كأنها كوكب دري يوقد من شجرة مباركة زيتونة لا شرقية ولا غربية يكاد زيتها يضيء ولو لم تمسسه نار نور على نور يهدي الله لنوره من يشاء ويضرب الله الأمثال للناس والله بكل شيء عليم. في بيوت أذن الله أن ترفع ويذكر فيها اسمه يسبح له فيها بالغدو والآصال. رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة رجال لا تلهيهم تجارة ولا بيع عن ذكر الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة يخافون يوما تتقلب فيه القلوب والأبصار ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله ليجزيهم الله أحسن ما عملوا ويزيدهم من فضله والله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. So, of course, tonight we are celebrating the birth of a few individuals. And inshallah, tonight I'd like to honor them all with a nasheed, which is very simple. The words are very simple. However, of course, as always, I ask for all of your input and your help and your voices, inshallah. So the chorus is Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. You get the gist of it. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother, together. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother. The first of whom we call is he who gave his all, the ship of salvation, who saved all creation. The reason I'm alive, I'll serve him my whole life. If you open my veins, my blood cries, Ya Hussein. If you open my veins, my blood cries, Ya Hussein. Purest of pure from the light of Ali and Zahra. I only ever feel at home with him in Karbala. Purest of pure from the light of Ali and Zahra. I only ever feel at home with him in Karbala. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother. Husayn, Abbas. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad. You guys are giving me about 20% today. You're giving me about 20%, but I know there's a lot of energy here in the room. So please, with your loudest of voices, inshallah. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother. Husayn, Abbas. The first of whom we call is he who gave his all, the ship of salvation, who saved all creation. The reason I'm alive, I'll serve him my whole life. If you open my veins, my blood cries, Ya Hussein. Purest of pure from the light of Ali and Zahra. I only ever feel at home with him in Karbala. Purest of pure from the light of Ali and Zahra. I only ever feel at home with him in Karbala. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas. Father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas. The second name we call, full of pride and stands tall, no doubt raised by a queen, the best of men there's been. In loyalty a lesson, rewarded wings in heaven, heroes epitome, Al-Abbas ibn Ali. Heroes epitome, Al-Abbas ibn Ali. In my life, if I'm ever stuck on what path I should choose, I just follow Abbas and know this way I'll never lose. In my life, if I'm ever stuck on what path I should choose, I just follow Abbas and know this way I'll never lose. Husayn, Abbas and said, father, brother and son. Husayn, Abbas. Husayn, Abbas and Sajjad, father. The second name we call, full of pride and stands tall, no doubt raised by a queen, the best of men there's been. In loyalty a lesson, rewarded wings in heaven, heroes appear to me, Al-Abbas ibn Ali. In my life, if I'm ever stuck on what path I should choose, I just follow Abbas and know this way I'll never lose. In my life, if I'm ever stuck on what path I should choose, I just follow Abbas and know this way I'll never lose. Hussein, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Hussein, Abbas. Together, Hussein, Abbas and Sajjad. Father, brother and who do we call as third? The peak of worship observed. Allah through him would show wisdom can overflow. Shining light of Husayn, the best title he'd attain. Imam Zaynul Abideen, the best worshipper seen. We pray to Allah that for all of us you'll intercede. And if you do, we know that heaven surely guaranteed. We pray to Allah that for all of us you'll intercede. And if you do, we know that heaven surely guaranteed. Hussein, Abbas and said, father, brother and son. Hussein, Abbas and Sajjad, father, brother and son. Hussein, Abbas and Sajjad. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali. We all know this, but where are your voices? Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali, Ali. Ali, Ali, Mawla, Ali. Ali, Ali. علي حب علي فوز الشيعي غدا حب علي فوز الشيعي غدا فامدد لي في يوم حسابي يدا إن صلاتي ثم صيامي إذا لم يشفع لي حيدر ضاعت صدى علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي. One more time. علي علي. يشهد ربي أن بروحي له يشهد ربي أن بروحي له حبا دوما قلبي فيه شدا صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي صهر الهادي أنت مرادي علي 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 مولا علي 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 مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي. One more time, but with your loudest of voices, inshallah. Ali 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي 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 مولا علي علي مولا علي علي مولا علي. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
Thank you very much for that beautiful recitation. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad Salawat. Brothers and sisters, today we are very fortunate to have Shaykh Nuru, who will be speaking to us about servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Born in Ghana, Shaykh holds a BA in Islamic Philosophy and Mysticism and MA in Islamic Studies. He previously served as resident Aalim in South Africa and Kenya, and currently is in the UK. He's the chair of the Islamic Cultural and Religious Affairs of COEG, resident Aalim at Birmingham since 2016, and an elected National Trustee of Citizens UK. He was a member of the UK National COVID Task Force and was elected the UK Most Impactful Imam in 2021 at the Beacon of Mosque Award. Please welcome him again with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات Muhammad. For the love of the three personalities that we've gathered to celebrate their birth, with the loudest of our voices, sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. First of all, my dear brothers and sisters, lovers and the followers of Ahlul Bayt, it is indeed a great pleasure and honor to be here with you tonight, celebrating the life of Imam Husayn and that of Imam Zaynul Abideen, and of course, Abul Fadl al-Abbas, alayhim as-salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajjal farajahum. I take this opportunity to congratulate each and every one of you on this beautiful and auspicious occasion. The verse I've just quoted from the Qur'an is Qur'an 51, verse 56, Surah Al-Ziyarat. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala in this beautiful verse highlights on the main reason as to why He created us. He said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have not created ins and jinn save to be worshipped. Now, departing from this beautiful verse, the topic I would like to briefly discuss tonight on this beautiful occasion is to look at servitude to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Al-ubudiyatu lillahi azza wa jal. And the reason as to why I chose this topic is simply because we are, alhamdulillah, in the holy month of Sha'ban. And this month will lead us to the holy month of Ramadan. So I thought, what better topic to prepare us in welcoming the holy month of Ramadan than the topic of ubudiyah or servitude to Allahu Azza wa Jal. So I would like to discuss this topic in the following ways. Number one is to look at the reality of servitude. What is servitude? Two is to take some examples from the life of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. And then three, some examples from the life of Imam Zaynul Abideen. And then to conclude with some examples from the life of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Aim is first and foremost to inspire myself and to inspire my dear brothers and sisters to try as much as we can to reflect on whatever we're going to mention, discuss, or to remind each and everyone tonight of. So the first thing is servitude, ubudiyya. What is servitude? Here I would like to share few opinions on the reality of servitude. And thereafter, we'll look at how Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam define servitude. You see, Qur'an, as we mentioned earlier on, makes it crystal clear. We are created for ibadah. Illa liya'budun, meaning for ibadah. I am in this world to worship. I am in this world for servitude. In other words, I am in this world to become a servant of Almighty Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. So as the first definition of servitude I would like to share with you, kindly pay attention to these definitions, brothers and sisters, is that of Allama Tabatabai. You see, Tabatabai in Tafsir al-Mizan discusses servitude. And as per his understanding, servitude is nothing but izharul mamlukiyyati lillahi azza wa jal. Is to demonstrate that one is absolutely owned by Allah. So according to Tabatabai, any moment one is able to demonstrate that he or she is absolutely owned by Allah, that is what servitude is all about. And we realize in the Holy Quran there is a verse, Surah Maryam, verse 93. Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala makes it very clear. In kullu man fi samawati wa man fil ardi illa ati ar-Rahmani abda. Very powerful verse. That those in heaven and earth, there is one thing expected of each one of them, is to come to the most merciful as servants. So that abd is of great importance. Second definition is that of Sayyid Khoi in his Tafsir al-Bayan, when he discusses servitude or ubudiyya. According to him, servitude is nothing but something they call at-ta'alluh. Ta'alluh simply means what? To pay unconditional attention to Allah and to the calling of Allah and to the instruction of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. That when one is able to pay such attention, that is what servitude is all about. And hence you find in the Holy Quran again, Surah Al-Ra'ad, the thunder, verse 36, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala makes it very clear. قُلْ إِنَّمَا أُمِرْتُ أَنْ أَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ وَلَا أُشْرِكُ بِهِ إِلَيْهِ أَدْعُو وَإِلَيْهِ مَآبِ. Tell them, Ya Rasulullah, I am being instructed to worship and not to associate anyone with Allah. He is the only one I call on, and to him is my return. That's definition of servitude from Sayyid Al-Khoi. Now the third definition I would like to share is that of the mystics, the Urafa. From the mystical perspective, servitude is نقل الخضوع من القلب إلى الجوارح. Is the transferring of humility or humbleness from heart to the senses. Meaning what? You see, when we all come to pray, Salah, you realize we are so humble during our Salah. Now, as per this definition, Ibadah is when one is able to transfer that humbleness and humility in his life. If I'm humble during my Salah, and I'm not humble out there in my dealings with people, then I've not achieved the essence of servitude. If I'm humble when I'm reciting the Holy Qur'an, and then outside I'm not humble, then that is not what servitude is all about. Servitude is for me to be able to transfer whatever humbleness and humility I experience while I'm praying, reciting Qur'an, fasting, to my interactions with people. Now the last definition is from Imam Ja'far. And if you examine all these definitions, you realize that they all lean into one thing from this definition of Imam Ja'far alayhi salam. First definition from Imam Ja'far is from Hadith Unwan al-Basri. And obviously, the chain of transmission for this hadith is a broken chain. But because it is not theological or jurisprudential, it is mystical and ethical, so the chain is not of so importance. Hadith Unwan al-Basri, I'm sure good number of us here have gone through this hadith. It's a conversation between Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq and an old man by the name Unwan al-Basri, who some said he was Sharif, so Sharif meaning was a Sunni. He approached Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq to learn, to study. But Imam back and forth kept sending him, go and come, go and come. Eventually, Imam granted him the opportunity to learn from Imam. So one of the questions is Haqiqatul Ubudiyya, the reality of servitude. Imam said, there are three things. When these three things are met in a person, then the person achieves the essence or the reality of servitude. The first thing is that whatever you possess, don't regard yourself as the absolute owner. Whatever you have in life, don't regard yourself as an absolute owner. In other words, the absolute owner is Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And it makes sense to me, really. I don't know of brothers and sisters. Why I say it makes sense to me. It makes sense in the sense that whatever I have is either I lose it or I go somewhere and inherit. So I'm not an absolute owner. Second element Imam Ja'far mentioned to Unwan al-Basri, that whatever wealth, money you have, whatever you have now, the money you have now, regard yourself as a caretaker for it. Meaning you've been asked or tasked by Allah to take care of it. And then the last element he mentioned is that if you are to spend whatever you have, spend it as per the dictate of Allah. This is from the hadith of Unwan al-Basri. But there is a very powerful tradition from Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq where he mentioned al-ubudiyyatu jawharun kunhuha ar-rububiyyah. He said servitude is like a jewel. The essence or the reality of servitude is divinity. Meaning anyone who strives to become a true abd of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, the result is what? You achieve divinity. And that is why Qur'an makes it very clear. وَعْبُدُ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينَ. Serve and worship your Lord until certainty comes to you. Obviously, certain things here, so many scholars discuss it. But there are two main meanings. One meaning, until death comes to you. Meaning, keep worshipping, keep calling on Allah, keep praying, keep doing salah, keep serving humanity until your last day on earth. But the other meaning is that worship Allah until marhalatu shuhud, until that stage where you are able to see things as they are. So the first level, these are the meanings of servitude. Now let's look at the life of Imam Husayn. We gathered tonight to celebrate the life of Imam Husayn alayhi salam. And for me, these celebrations are vehicles for each and every one of us to learn from these great personalities. So you realize these occasions recur now and then to give us opportunities to rekindle that love for Ahlul Bayt by taking some lessons from their lives. If you examine the life of Imam al-Husayn, my dear brothers and sisters, you realize that Imam al-Husayn, like in the case of any of our Imams, tried his level best to build that solid relationship with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Because for me, servitude is about building relationship with Allah. And as I said earlier on, the holy month of Ramadan is on the way coming. One cannot wait until the month begins before you start taking things seriously. We begin preparing for the month way before the first day of that month. Two examples I would like to share when it comes to servitude from the life of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. First one is how Imam al-Husayn approached the entire event of Karbala. And the second example is Dua Arafah of Imam al-Husayn. Just look at Karbala. Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam ensured that each and every step he took, he connected with Allah. Each and every step. There is no step he took in Karbala without remembering and calling on Allah. The first step Abu Abdullah took on the eve of Ashura was for him and his companions to engross in ibadah, in the worship. They were faced with a mammoth task. They were faced with serious challenges. Enemies were up in arm. But he taught us the best way to confront every challenge is to go to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Yes, try in your own way of resolving it. But you cannot be independent of Allah's intervention. And hence, narration tells us, بات الحسين وأصحابه عشية عاشورا ولهم دوي كدوي النخل يتزودون بالعبادة. That Imam al-Husayn and his companions kept night vigil on the eve of Ashura. What were they doing? They were worshipping Allah. They were praying. Each one of them was calling on Allah. Salatul Layl and other acts of worship. And that for me is of great importance. The second thing Abu Abdullah did on the 10th day of Muharram, he began the entire mission with dua. On that day, before he could allow any companion to go out, he raised up his hand, he made dua. That's ubudiyah, that's servitude. Allahumma anta thikati fi kulli karb wa raja'i fi kulli shidda. Ya Allah, you are my trust, you are my hope. In every difficulty, in every pain, you are my hope. Number 3, Imam Husayn back and forth between the camp and the field, remembering Allah. At one point, he would repeat, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. At one point, he would repeat, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. At one point, he would praise Almighty Allah. One point, he would recite some verses of the Holy Qur'an. That's number 3. Number 4, what did he do? He ensured that his obligatory prayer was established. They prayed on the 10th day of Muharram. Although it was hot, although it was very difficult, but Imam Husayn alayhi salam ensured that they prayed their salah. And then number 5, he prepared his camp to resort to Allah, to remember Allah. He said to Sayyidah Zainab, Ista'iddi lil bala, wa'alami anna ahla al-ardi yamutun wa ala as-sama'i la yabkun. He said, oh my dear sister Zainab, prepare for the tragedy. But note that all those in heaven will perish, likewise those on earth will perish. He prepared them. And the same thing he said to his companion, Ista'iddu lil bala, wa'alamu anna Allah hamikum wa munjikum. Oh my companions, prepare for the tragedy. But note that Allah will protect you. And then the last thing he did was to subject himself completely to Allah. Ilahi ridam bi qada'ik wa tasliman li amrik. He surrendered everything to Almighty Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Now if you look at Dua or Arafah, my dear brothers and sisters, I just want to share a few lines of this dua. I know some of you, if not all, have gone through this dua. But this dua really defines the mystical personality of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. Anyone who truly wants to appreciate that mystical dimension of the personality of Abba Abdullah salamullah alayh, then one needs to appreciate Dua Arafah. And if you examine Dua Arafah, you realize that this Dua focuses more on self-constructive criticism. Because without self-constructive criticism, no one will prosper in life, let alone in religion. I need to be able to sit sometime and self-critique, but constructively. Not to bring myself down, not to undermine myself, but to say to myself, Nur, you could have done it this way, not the other way around. You could have spoken this way and not the other way around. You could have prayed before and not to delay. So Imam Husayn in Dua Arafah, when focusing on self-constructive criticism, he mentioned 4 factors. And these factors are practical, that can help us when it comes to understanding ourselves, so that in return we are able to connect with Almighty Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. The first practical tip Imam taught is ma'rifatun nafs, self-awareness, self-knowledge. I know there's a big discussions out there. Know yourself. Different experts coming from their background and telling us what self-awareness or self-knowledge is all about. Abu Abdullah focuses on self-knowledge in Dua Arafah. Because the hadith tells us, Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabba. But now question, what is self-knowledge? Self-knowledge, from my humble understanding, is for us to appreciate our limitations. We need to appreciate our knowledge is so limited. Our strength is so limited. Our wealth is so limited. Our power is so limited. In other words, one needs to appreciate whatever your circumstance, whatever your status, you are so limited. Appreciating our limitations will easily lead us to connecting properly with Allah. Now, just please allow me to quote 2 or 3 lines in this regard from Imam Husayn. Where Imam Husayn said, Ilahi, أنا الفقير في جناي فكيف لا أكون فقيرا في فقري. You know what he said? He said, oh my Lord, my God, I am needy despite my richness. How can I not be needy in my neediness? Think about it. Yes, I may think I'm rich. But Abu Abdullah alayhi salam is trying to draw your attention to the fact that yes, you are rich, but in relation to Allah, you are needy. Then he said, أنا الجاهل في علمي فكيف لا أكون جهولا في جهلي. Beautifully, he said, oh my God, I am ignorant despite my knowledge. So, how can I not be ignorant in my ignorance? Regardless of your knowledge, regardless of my knowledge, it's so limited compared to that of Almighty Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. For me, that is what ma'rifatun nafs is all about, self-knowledge. Because when I appreciate my limitation, it brings humbleness in me. And when it brings that humbleness in me, I'm able to connect with the unlimited. And the unlimited is no one else but Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And the last line in this regard, you know what he said? Ilahi, man kanat mahasinuhu musawi, fakayfa la takunu musawi, musawi. Allahu Akbar. He said, oh my Lord, as for he whose good deeds are wrongdoings, how can his wrongdoings not be wrongdoings? So if I think I have a lot of good deeds in life, to Allah, it cannot be compared. So first, self-knowledge. Number 2 factor Imam mentioned when it comes to self-constructive criticism is confession. I need to confess my sins. I need to. I cannot claim to be infallible. I have my shortcomings. Between I and Allah, I need to confess. And when I confess, Allah makes it easy for me. And hence you realize in Dua Arafah, Imam Husayn makes it very clear. ثم أنا يا إلهي المعترف بذنوبي. He said, however, it is I, oh my God, who confess of my sins. Sometimes I need to sit between me and Allah and confess my shortcomings and then ask for His forgiveness. To such an extent, Imam Husayn mentioned, really, Ya Allah, if I do not confess and if I'm not forgiven by you, فَبِأَيِّ شَيْءٍ أَسْتَقْبِلُكَ يَا مَوْلَاي. So which thing can I now meet you, O my master? How do I face you? Is it by my hearing or my sight? Or is it by my tongue or my hand or my foot? Are all these not your bounties on me? And with all of them I have disobeyed you, O my master. So confession is crucial. It builds that relationship with Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And the last but certainly not the least factor mentioned by Imam Al-Husayn is feeling ashamed. In what way? That Allah has blessed me with all these blessings, but I still use these blessings to sin. He's given us everything. We can't complain. So Imam Husayn alayhi salam, my dear brothers and sisters, he's saying that Ya Mawlaya, Anta alladhi mananta, Anta alladhi an'amta, Anta alladhi a'atayta. He said, oh my master, it is you who bestowed upon me. It is you who conferred favors upon me. It is you who did good to me. So Imam Husayn is trying to say, Allah, upon all this goodness, I sin against you. Am I not ashamed of doing so? It's like uncle favors me with something. Instead of appreciating uncle, I become ungrateful to uncle. Please, when you have time, I know some of you have done, go through this dua. Now the third thing is from Imam Zaynul Abideen. You see, Imam was a great personality when it comes to spirituality. Now let me throw a question here, if you don't mind. Kindly pay attention to this. I'm going to just ask a random question, if you don't mind. What do you think are the difference when it comes to the highlight of the lives of Ahlul Bayt? Because I believe each and every Imam had a unique highlight in his life. Can anyone help me with the highlight of the life of Imam Ali? What do you think is the main highlight of the life of Imam Ali? Eh? So brother is saying bravery. Eh? Mama is saying generous. Obviously, he was very generous. He was very brave. MashaAllah. Courage. So bravery, courage. Eh? Or language, eloquent. Okay? Fantastic. Justice. All are right. But the main highlight of the life of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen is justice. In other words, he manifested the justice of Allah on earth. That's one. Let's go to Imam al-Hasan. What's the main highlight of the life of Imam al-Hasan? Eh? Faithful, mashallah, solid, you smashed it. Faithful, excellent. Any other? Generous? Eh? Charitable. That's another one. So obviously there are different opinions. Kareem Ahl al-Bayt doesn't mean because of his charity or because he sacrificed his social status for the benefit of all. So there are discussions on that. But definitely charitable. But there is that main highlight. Quickly because of time. Eh? Obedience to Allah. MashaAllah. You are right, Mama. All of them were obedient to Allah. I totally agree. But there is that main one like justice in the case of Imam Ali. Through, mashallah, they are all truthful. I totally agree. But there is that one. Remember, what did he do, Imam Hassan? He signed the treaty. What does it mean? Peace. Salam. He manifested that attribute of salam and peace of Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. That's number 2. Quickly. Number 3, Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam was the main highlight of the life of Imam Husayn. Obviously not what I discussed in the first. Sacrifice. Who is saying sacrifice again? Okay, sacrifice. Ahsantum izza, dignity. Sacrifice, right. But I will go with dignity. Izza. Imam Husayn alayhi salam went out for dignity, for honor. Now we come to the Imam in question. Imam Zaynul Abideen. What's the main highlights of his life? Sabr, mashallah, patience, crucial, top, mashallah. Ibadah, hub, sajida, mashallah. So ibadah, sajida, patience, they are all part. Main was the love of Allah. Imam Zaynul Abideen manifested al-ishq al-ilahi. The love for Allah. Yes, he was just. like Imam Ali, but this is the main highlight of his life. And hence, if we truly want to appreciate this dimension of the life of Imam Zaynul Abideen, for me, the best book is Sahifatu Sajjadiyah. Where in this book, Imam alayhi salam taught us how to build a relationship with Allah. The first one is what? He taught us how to look after our nafs. In a very emotional way. Question. Do you know anything about nafs from Imam Zaynul Abideen? Nafs. Eh? He suffered a lot, Mama. I totally agree. He suffered a lot. But any teaching of Imam Zaynul Abideen about nafs? Nafs. Yes, I agree, attaining goal, but Imam has a specific dua or munajat when it comes to nafs. What is that? Oh, Risalat al-Hukuk. Okay, Risalat al-Hukuk, mashallah, tell us the right of our nafs, the right. Mashallah, excellent, my brother. May God bless you, I agree. But there's another one I'm looking for. He said Makarim al-Akhlaq, that's about our akhlaq. There's dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. I totally agree. I don't refuse that. But there is that one where Imam focuses on nafs. Abu Hamza al-Thumali, not really, but powerful dua. I totally agree. Last one, then I move forward so that it doesn't. Solid, man. Solid. I love that, man. You are a lot mystical here, man. Shabaniya is powerful because you are in Shaban. Which one? Munajatu Shakin. The whispers of the complainers. Ilahi ashku ilayka nafsan bisu'i ammara. Check Munajatu Shakin. That munajat of the complainers. Imam, salamullah alayhi, complain to Allah when it comes to nafs. And if you look at the first line really, he said, oh my God, to thee I complain of a soul commanding to evil, rushing to offenses, eager to disobey thee, and exposing itself to fire anger. It takes me on the route of disasters. It makes me the easiest of what? Perishes before thee. Ashku ilayka nafsan bisu'i ammara. Because this nafs is crucial. So he's talking of nafs al-ammara, not nafs al-lawama and nafs al-mutma'inna. Nafs al-ammara, it pushes you. Go to the mosque. No, don't go today. Gossip, okay, don't gossip. Gossip. Backbite, don't backbite. Read the Qur'an, don't read Qur'an. So Imam is saying, you know what? We need to look after our nafs. Because there is that angle of our nafs which is ammara. And ammara can easily lead us to disaster. So that is number one practical lesson from Imam Zaynul Abideen alayhi salam. Read this munajat and reflect on the meanings of this munajat. The second one, brothers and sisters, which is also a quick one. You know, Imam Zaynul Abideen alayhi salam taught us how to love God. How to love God. Can you remember anything from Imam Zaynul Abideen? MashaAllah. So we have Munajat al-Muhibbeen and Munajat al-Arifeen. The munajat of the lovers of Allah and the munajat of the knowers of Allah, those who know Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Imam Zaynul Abideen in Munajat al-Arifin, he taught us our relationship with Allah should base on love and not fear. When you have time, go through this munajat. We need to be able to build that love, because there is no one who loves us more than Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. The last to reject us will be Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. The last to deny us will be Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. So build that love based on your capability. It's not a competition. Based on your capability. Now if you look at the first line, he said, my God, place us among those within the gardens of whose breasts the trees of yearning for thee. Meaning, place in our heart that yearning for you, Allah. I yearn for you. I need you, Allah. I cannot do without you. And that is how a servant of Allah should yearn for Allah. And the one Mama mentioned, Munadat al-Muhibbin, Man dha alladhi dhaka halawata mahabbatika farama minka badala. He said, Ya Allah, is there anyone out there who has tasted your love and wish any other love but not yours? And he said, وَمَنْ ذَا الَّذِي أَنِسَ بِقُرْبِكَ وَابْتَغَى أَنْكَ حِوَلَ. He said, Ya Allah, is there anyone who has consoled him or herself with your presence and wish any other person to console him? So it's about love for Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala. And last one, from Imam Zaynul Abideen. What do you know about Tawbah? From Imam Zaynul Abideen. Who can tell me? Tawbah. MashaAllah. Munajatu Ta'ibin, that's one, and that's what I have here. Any other? Any other thing about Tawbah from Imam Zaynul Abideen? Huh? Munajati Shakirin. He thanked Allah, but then he returned to him. But if you look at the Tawbah, Tawbah, my dear brothers and sisters, is very important. We need to seek Allah's forgiveness. Because Imam Zaynul Abideen said, إلهي ألبستني الخطاياي ثوب مذلتي وجللني التباعد لباس مسكنتي وأمات قلبي عظيم جنايتي. Please, I beg you, let me read this line for you. He said, my God, offenses have clothed me in the garment of my lowliness. Separation from thee has wrapped me in the clothing of my misery. My dreadful crimes have deadened my heart. So bring it to life by a repentance from thee. Repent to Allah. The holy month of Ramadan is coming. Let us start from now. And in conclusion, it's Abul Fadl Abbas. What do you know about Abul Fadl Abbas when it comes to his servitude? This everyone should know, man, this one. Loyalty. Loyalty. Anyone? Patience? Self-denial? Self-denial, is it good or bad? Uncle, self-denial, is it good or bad? Pride. What? Brave. You know what I take from Abul Fadl Abbas? Obedience, I like it. It's ikhlas. Sincerity. Sabr is there. Shukr is there. Bravery is there. Pleased with his circumstance is there. But Abul Fadl Abbas alayhi salam was sincere to the task. He was sincere to the mission. And I believe it was to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. And if there is one thing that can make things difficult when it comes to connecting with Allah, it's lack of ikhlas. That's why I leave you with this tradition before your questions. The Holy Prophet mentioned, الناس هلكا إلا العالمون والعالمون هلكا إلا العاملون والعاملون هلكا إلا المخلصون. Then he recited, وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا الله مخلصين له الدين. Prophet said, all will perish, save those who know. Then he said, even all those who know will perish, except those who abide by what they know. Because it's not about the knowledge, it's about abiding by what you know. And then he said, even those who abide by what they know will perish, except those who do so with sincerity and ikhlas. When there is ikhlas in any action, the action grows. We pray Allah forgive us, inshallah, and inspire His love in our hearts. Now I think it's time for your questions, comments.
We'll take one or two questions if there are any.
Thank you very much and congratulations to all of you on this occasion.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. I've got a friend 55 years ago. He's a Christian. He was a Christian and he's a Christian. And he said one thing which I don't understand. Usually when there's a leader of the army, the commander of the army, on the night before the fight, he asks and he urges his followers to leave at night. How courageous is that man? He said, I haven't seen such a person in all history.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Usually, the commander asks people to gather around him, to support him, not to ask them, هذا الليل قد غشيكم فاتخذوه جملا. Please go, everybody will go, because they want only to kill me and nothing else. He said, I don't understand this. Thank you very much.
Ahsant. Jazakallah khair. So the conclusion is who? Imam Husayn? MashaAllah, uncle. Ahsant.
Any final questions?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I had a question. What do you think? You said you talked about the nafs whispering to us.
Yeah.
And one of the imams there was. I would like to ask a question on that. What would you give advice? How would you prevent the nafs from whispering?
Ahsantum. That's a very matured question. Thank you so much. Bless you, man. It's a very philosophical question, man, and mystical.
Can I comment?
Yeah, comment before I answer. Subhanallah. Uncle, MashaAllah. Thank you so much. No, definitely your question is a very solid question. Of course, Uncle, may Allah bless you too. So you see, nafs, this is how I look at it. First, I look at the relationship between nafs, body, and intellect. So if I ask you, what's the role of your intellect? Intellect. For me, the role of intellect is to receive information, analyze, makes a judgment, this is right, wrong, but no decision. Nafs, self. Of course, there are some rogue, that's a different discussion. This self, for me, the role of self is decision. It takes decision. So that's why Quran says, Surah Al-Shams, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So this nafs can either lead you to this way or that way, because it has that potential of goodness and evilness. Allah inspired it. So how do I ensure that this nafs doesn't lead me astray? Practical tip. Number one, Uncle mentioned self-accountability. You know, Imam Kazim mentioned, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ لَمْ يُحَاسِبْ نَفْسَهُ كُلَّ يَوْمٍ. It's not one of us who fails to do self-accountability daily. Even Prophet mentioned, Hasibu anfusakum. So how do you do self-accountability? You sit. What's your name? Muhammad Ilyas. Lovely name, mashallah. So, Muhammad Ilyas, you sit somewhere alone. You see, okay. Today, what good have I done? You look at your goodness first. Okay, I've gone to school early. I studied well. Came back home, helped mom, helped dad. I ate my food on time, not late. And I'm now going to bed early. These are good. Okay, what wrong have I done? Maybe when mom was calling me, I was, give me a few minutes, I'm coming. So this self-accountability. So, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure I do that. That's self-accountability. You look at the good you've done and the other one. The second way to do so, to look after your nafs, hang around with good ones, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, good people who will lead you to doing good. So when you hang around, you associate, you befriend good people, eventually you begin to think good and you do good. Number 3, as I mentioned earlier on, you can't do it without God, isn't it? So you need to keep asking God, God, purify my nafs, help me, let me do it. So these are a few things I wanted to share. Thank you so much. Bless you, man. Yeah, your question, mashallah, very good question, mashallah. Salawat. Any other question?
We'll take one final question.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. As you mentioned, we're in Shaban and we have Ramadan coming. Could you just give us 2 or 3 quick, easy, practical tips of what we could do over the next few weeks to increase our servitude?
Fantastic. Very, very powerful question. So my first practical tip will be, if there's any sin at all one knows he or she is being committing, determined to stop or pledge to stop. So that's one between you and Allah. Because sometimes, you know this sin that I've been committing is not the right way. So determine, strive, pledge. 2, your relationship with people. How is it? Is one too mean? Is one too cheeky? Is one too disrespectful? Is one offensive? Work on that before the holy month of Ramadan. Because the month of the Ummah of the Prophet, I cannot build relationship if my relationship with people is 0. Hence, mystics will always say, we go to Allah through people and we go to people through Allah. So for me, that's number 2. Number 3, start looking into your recitation of the Holy Quran and reflection. So don't only stick to recitation. You have to go and read the translation and reflect. Say one doesn't know how to recite at all. This is the time to begin. We've got 1 month to go. You can build that and reflect. That's very, very important. And last but certainly not the least, charity. Reach out to those who are in need. Family members who are in need, community members who are in need, wider community who are in need. Because these are what we are expected to engage in the holy month of Ramadan. So we need to begin now, before the holy month of Ramadan. I hope it's useful, inshallah. Now.
Thank you very much. I think we'll have to stop there. I know there are lots more questions, but I think we'll have to stop there. Inshallah, Shaykh Nuru will be around. We can ask some questions
after. Inshallah.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا محمد بن عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى ابن عمك أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وصي رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى بضعتك الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى زوجتك الوفية الغراء خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى ولديك الإمامين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة. السلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أئمة المسلمين من ذرية ولدك الحسين علي السجاد ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق وموسى الكاظم وعلي الرضا ومحمد الجواد وعلي الهادي والحسن العسكري والحجة ابن الحسن المهدي. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا الله من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. وصل اللهم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
Brothers and sisters, just to remind you that this Friday we will be having our regular Salam talk. The program this Friday begins at 7:45 p.m. with Salah, followed by dinner, which is the niyaz for the 40th after the death of Kaniz by Ramzan Ali Jafar. And then the main talk will be by Mukhtar Karim, entitled Transforming Charities to Change Lives. We continue with the rest of our programs during the week. So on Mondays we have our ladies exercise classes. On Tuesdays we have ladies yoga and ladies exercise classes as well. On Thursdays we have regular Dua Kumal program. On the weekend we have tuition classes, Hussaini Madrasa, and Soul Kitchen. Brothers and sisters, we have a couple of new programs coming up, including the Tajweed workshop for ladies only, which will take place on the 21st of February. If you'd like to register or show interest for it, you go to sikkim.org.uk/ladies Tajweed. We also have our Ramadan program starting on the 11th of March, which will include a children's program as well as daily iftar, Qur'an recitation, Dua Zamal, and Qari recitation as well. So please join us for all our regular programs.